everyone, today I made an interview with Marina Emphietzi Harris. She's a semi-abstracted artist, inspired mostly by water and marine environment. She's a world traveler. Marina has called many places home: the beaches of Dubai, the crowded markets of Ethiopia, Cyprus, and now she lives in London, UK. That all influences her color and her work. She creates her paintings with playful textures and a distinct style. I think you're going to enjoy a lot our conversation. We talked about a lot how artists should continue to, work hard and being an artist, no matter what level you are, even in the level that Marina is, it's always about connections. I love how also we talked about how to insert yourself in the community and how creating connections is so important to us. I hope you enjoyed the podcast today and get to know Marina's work. On the blog post of this episode will be all the links, and also I'll put in the show notes for you. So I hope you enjoy, and let's talk with Marina.
Welcome to the Artistically You podcast, where mixed media art is a place for all. Here, we are going to talk about art as a mindful practice, connect with our creativity, and embrace curiosity. This is your host, mixed media artist, Jana Oliveira.
Hi, Marina. Welcome to the podcast. I'm so glad you're here today. And how are you?
Hello, Jana. I am fine. I'm very happy to be on the podcast with you today. Everything is fine here in London. It's the first day we've seen the sun today after a long time.
So tell people where originally you were from, and I know you just said that you now live in London. So, where you come from, how long are you in London?
Yes, I'm a Greek Cypriot. I come from Cyprus, sunny Cyprus. And I live between London and Cyprus. Okay. But since the lockdown, I'm mostly in London and less in Cyprus. I try to share my time there and here. So that's where I am. That's where I work. And I have my studio here in London.
Do you have a studio in Cyprus as well?
Well, I had a studio. Now I have in both places a home studio, both in Cyprus and London, and which is a blessing, especially after the COVID, the pandemic being here.
Let people know a little bit, what kind of artist are you? What kind of art do you do today?
Okay, well, I create engaging artworks in a semi-abstract style, mostly inspired by the sea and the marine environment. This is what I do, and I love doing because I have a very strong bond with the sea, as I lived by the sea in Famagusta, Cyprus. And the water gives me the energy, the inspiration, the thinking of the waves, and being by water inspires me.
The water in that region is really amazing. And what mediums do you work with today? Do you work acrylics, oils?
Yeah. Well, my love is oils. The texture, you can create your layers. It doesn't dry as fast as acrylic. But I have to say, for the acrylics are so easier to use. Again, the drawback is that they dry fast. Or sometimes, or most of the times, I do both. You start with acrylics and continue with oils.
Yeah.
And then I have the best of both worlds.
Yeah, because the underpainting we can do with acrylics. But your main pieces are oil pieces, right?
Yes, mostly is oils. Yes.
Yeah. So how did you get started? When did you start painting as a profession? Hi, everyone. So I wanted to talk to you about our new class. And it's called Watercolor Bouquet online class. So in this class, we are going to start learning all pieces of flowers doing in watercolors for beginners. We're going to start with strokes and shapes and practicing the watercolor flowers, so you can start building your own bouquets and learning that beginner level of doing your flowers. And the great thing about this class is that when you join the class, for the price of the class, you always join our community. So you can ask questions, you can post your work, but also we have extra activities in the community. We also have a part just for the podcast, so we can discuss the podcast, ask questions, and, participate on the monthly theme for the community with extra materials for you and videos to help you grow your art. So I hope you check that out. It's twowords.com/classes, and I can't wait to see you there. Back to the podcast.
Yeah, well, I loved art since I remember myself. I always wanted to study art, but from those days, I come from a generation where art wasn't, there were no jobs as there are today. So I did study hotel management, but I never gave up art. So I was doing on the side and going to classes on the side. And then I did continue my studies at Central St. Martin's in London. And we lived in Dubai before moving to London here. So I did take classes, and then I ended up teaching also there. So I never stopped. My love, my passion for art never stopped since I was little. And then after we left, not after, even during Dubai, I took my role. I became a professional artist 24/7. This is my job. I'm an artist.
So at that time, did you already just started painting sea and things about the ocean, or did you had another style?
You all artists, you start, you have to try everything, all subjects, from different, again, mediums and different styles, from impressionism. You try everything. But by trying everything, you know what you don't like.
Exactly.
So you try, especially like watercolors. It's not my thing. I've tried it. I've painted. I have painted with watercolors, but it's not my thing. It doesn't satisfy me. It doesn't give me the pleasure that I have with oils, for instance. So yeah, you try everything, and so you end up creating your own branding, your own style, what you love doing. And I'm at the semi-abstract style, or more abstract now than when I started. I started with portraits, doing portraits and everything else to learn. And then over the years, I realized that painting the water, painting the sea, painting seascapes was giving me energy. And also for me, the water is not just a painting of water, the sea. It is the symbol of life. The boats, I had a series, The Sea of Life, which was boats. The boat is the symbol of life. A boat takes you and brings you. Take away your loved ones, but bring your loved ones back. It's a profession. Being a sailor or being working on a boat. So it's a symbol of life.
It's interesting to see all these references about painting, right? When you look at a painting at the sea, it's not just that, right? So you're talking about all the background that you see and the message that you have on. Maybe some people can see, oh, this is just a painting of a sea with a boat. But as we can see, it goes beyond that, the message that, we want to convey. I think this is something that I was talking in another podcast, and this keeps coming back, that it's all about the message that we want to portray in the painting. And it's way beyond what the person sees in the painting.
Oh, definitely. An artist is not just a painting. Okay, you acquire or you have the skills of painting, but there's so much depth underneath. It comes, I'm talking about myself, it comes from your heart. And unless you have to give that heart on the painting to get the message across, and it's not just, okay, somebody will see a painting in a gallery, and it doesn't mean necessarily the artist will be there, but that painting should speak to the viewer. It could be sea and the waves for me, but it could be something, a reminder of your childhood because you saw that painting and that boat and the color of that reminds you of something else. So there is much more than just a paint in the surface, unless it's just decoration
Do you work
piece.
from imagination, or do you take pictures, or maybe you go to the sea and paint over there? What is your process?
In the old times, I used to have a box and I used to take and cut out images from magazines or whatever I saw that inspired me.
Uh-huh.
And then when I wanted to paint, I never copy, but it's just the idea or, a help, let's say, because
Mm-hmm.
our imagination is not so good sometimes, and details of something, you need to see it. And then I used to open that box and I said, oh, why on earth did I cut this one out? Or what is this? This is nonsense. I used to throw half of them away.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, with technology and cameras and photography, yes, I do have, again, images that I keep on my computer
Mm-hmm.
as a reference. I never copy. I have those, as I said, as a reference.
Mm-hmm.
Or I
Inspiration.
combine three pictures. Yes, I
Yeah.
mean, for inspiration. Yes.
Did you ever try plein air, like to go to this, the beach and
Oh,
paint over
yes.
there? Because the good thing about oils is that it creates this facility for us to paint plein air because it doesn't dry. So you don't have to worry much about it. And, you can just put some oils in a palette and you're good to go. And we don't need even water. So I think it's a very nice medium to do plein air.
Definitely. No, I have painted plein air, and I teach classes on
Oh,
plein
yeah,
air.
we're gonna talk more about
Yeah.
teaching. But I just wanna know a little bit backtracking, like when you started with oils, did you had a learning curve with them? Because I feel that people are a little intimidated about oils. They feel that oils are hard or it's a dangerous medium. Sometimes I think that's silly because acrylic paint is as dangerous or not more than oils. So did you have a learning curve with oils? Um,
Yes. Also, my first teacher in Dubai was teaching us oils. Not my first. I mean, as I was progressing,
Progressing,
yeah, I
uh-huh.
did oils. And it is what you say. Yes, people are scared of oils. They think it's a more difficult medium,
Yeah.
whereas it's the other way around because
Mm-hmm.
you can paint over, you can take the paint off,
Mm-hmm.
like everything, except, I mean, watercolors, which is the most difficult because if you make a mistake, the whole painting is finished.
Yeah, it's
But
really
because,
hard. Yeah.
but it is.
You had more lessons in Dubai about oils and that kind of thing. It
Definitely.
seems that Dubai is a very nice space for people to take all kinds of classes and grow there, right?
Well, I was there when, I mean, I saw the whole of the development happening,
Mm-hmm.
and I was I was part of the arts advisory team where we built the Dubai Arts Center, Theatre and
Wow.
Arts Center called DACTA. So
Wow.
we raised the funds, we built it from scratch. So that
Wow.
was a satisfaction because I was also teaching there, but I was also part of the marketing team, the
Mm-hmm.
strategic planning, and Sheikh Mohammed, and we built it. And it took off, and it was really,
Wow.
really satisfactory. Yes, very
Amazing.
nice.
Amazing. Yeah, it's really nice when you find a place that is so supportive of art like that. And there is a lot of people that, you find a community about art. And it seems that, at least, I hope it is the same today, but at least in that time, it seems that.
It was, and Dubai, because it is a transient place, and because there's all the nationalities of the world in there, you need that interaction. So
Mm-hmm.
you're new, you go to a community, uh, as I say, business center or art center, anywhere you want to belong, and you meet so many people, and you say, well, where do you come from? Or how long have you been here? And yes, there was a teamwork, which I do not find this happening in Cyprus. I find
Mm.
that the artists in Cyprus, they just keep to themselves as if
Mm.
somebody can steal their style, or they can,
Mm.
it's a smaller place, and I think that's the reason behind it.
That is interesting, isn't it? Because sometimes I think like the world is so big. there's just enough people to buy all kinds of art. And I think the problem sometimes with artists is that they don't see that if you are together, you can grow together, because you can reach more people. But if you are alone, it's hard to reach more people. Like, for example, if you are in a gallery with other artists, it's easier to attract more people in a gallery because you are, all the artists attract more people to the gallery, right? It is sad sometimes when we see this kind of things in the community, which it happens.
It happens in all kinds of communities. And as I said, Cyprus is a small island and there's less people, there's less opportunities.
Right.
So if somebody has a chance, you want to keep it to yourself until it materializes.
Yeah.
As you say, being in a group of artists, of exhibiting and doing partnerships and collaborations, of course, it gives you more of exposure. And more than anything, you do not feel alone, as I felt when I came to London. When I was in Dubai, I was represented by an Italian gallery. I was doing very well. I was really, I didn't have time to finish a painting. It was sold. I was doing very well. Then you leave the country. We moved to Ethiopia after London, after Dubai, which was starting again all over. Then coming back to Cyprus and London, what do I do now? Nobody knows me. I don't know where to go, which door to knock on. And it's starting all over. And that is the hard thing, being on your own. And that's where you need your community, and that's where you need to meet other artists. And, you learn one from the other.
So what did you do? How was your process? Did you start to trying to make friends? Did you contact galleries? What did you do?
You do. And again, because I lived in many places, you learn to act fast. You have no time to wait.
Yes.
So as soon as you arrive, you go on, you Google, where should I go? Which is the community? Which is this? Which is the other? And you knock on doors. You get, again, a slap in the face in many cases. Yeah. But you keep on. And after now, it's 5-6 years now that I'm in London, I made friends and I learned how the network works.
Right.
So you think it's a huge place? No, London, like Cyprus, like anywhere, is like a village. In other words, it's whom you know, and not what you know, it's whom you know. And then you have to build this network slowly. So with the hope that you will reach where you want to.
So when you were in Dubai, was when you started selling your art pieces, or it was before that, or was later?
No, it was then. And yes, it was
in Dubai.
There, in Dubai, yes.
So did you start right away with galleries, or did you just start first selling to people?
Well, we started with the art centers that I belong to, the annual exhibitions, part of the annual exhibitions. And then, how difficult it is to get into a gallery. So that's where an artist needs to be very patient. And you're like a hawk flirting with that gallery. You get to know them slowly. They have to believe in you. It's the trust that you build with the gallery. And after 4 years trying, I was given the chance to have a painting there as a trial, and it got sold in the first week, and that got me into
once
gallery.
You get the first one, then it's easier. Your pieces, do you work in stretch canvases? What size usually do you like to work with?
Again, it depends on what country you are. In Dubai, less than 1.5 to 2 meters. They didn't even want to look at the paintings because the houses were big. Coming to London, the houses are smaller, the walls are less and less. But there's all sorts, And mostly in group exhibitions, you have to start with smaller paintings.
Yeah, what makes me think that you do have to learn, if you want to sell, of course. If you don't want, you don't have to worry about it. But if you want to sell art, so you have to learn about your environment. Is a really interesting piece, that if you are in an environment that people have smaller houses and you just create huge pieces of art, then you're going to get stuck with that art and you're going to ask yourself, why I'm not selling? So you do have to be, learn the environment of the people that are buying your art.
But definitely, and you have to know who your target market is. I mean, I'm not
Exactly.
saying that in London there's big, huge houses and a lot of rich people and mansions and everything. It's where are you heading? You have to target your audience, your market. If I have all my clients have mansions, then there is no problem. But you don't know that, or you might get commission on a big thing.
Yeah, I never been to London, but I heard that London it's a very expensive. It's just like New York, very expensive place to live. And even I heard that even people that have money and even artists that live there, they don't have huge mansions because they don't have real estate for that kind of size there, because it's so competitive there.
Well, if you're in West London, in the center of London, obviously it is more expensive and you get less walls, let's put it this way. The more out you are from London, in suburbs, but even, outside the real center, yes, there are beautiful homes and big houses.
The more you go out to the center, then you start to see the houses
more
bigger.
Space,
So when was your... I know you do both right now, but when, you start in Dubai, then you start selling, participating in these galleries and things like that. And then did you decide to start teaching?
I decided I was by my teacher pushed to start teaching in the same center. And again, it went very well. It wasn't a matter of, I didn't think about it so much. I was thrown, let's say, well, do try, and I did try, and I took off again. And I had a lot of students there, which was, when I was to leave, it was very sad, because again, you give your heart, and that's how I am. I mean, I give my heart to what I do. I love what I do, and I want to pass it on to people who care about art. And I started teaching, and I continued teaching in Cyprus and in Ethiopia too. And again, in Ethiopia, I had a gallery representing me there, buying my pieces, which was a different style. And also, I curated. I'm the curator of the Art of Ethiopia, which takes place every year at the Sheraton Hotel there.
Wow.
And it's only Ethiopian artists taking part, but it was a big event at the Sheraton. And it's still on, except for this year.
Yeah, I actually have a piece of art from Africa, and I bought on a charity auction to help some villages there, and it's just so amazing to me. It remembers me a lot some of art in Brazil, very vibrant, and I bought a piece that has very local significance on. I believe the artist wanted to portray the women there. It's one of my favorite pieces I have in the entrance of my house here. It's a huge... what was interesting to me, he didn't paint in canvas. It was a loose, it was a kind of a different fabric that he painted. And that to me was really interesting. It was not stretched, of course, because that's the way they ship. It was easier to just put on a roller and ship it to me. But it's one of my favorite pieces that I have. I have this one, and I think it goes together because I have the Brazilian piece of an artist that I bought when I went last time in Brazil, and I have they both close because I think they go so well together.
Remember when I landed, when we moved to Ethiopia, you couldn't buy supplies. The same, I couldn't get a stretch canvas. You would go to the market and buy this material, which is the thick material. And I've learned, I understand how the old masters, I mean, the difficulties to find a few paints. I mean, of course, I was bringing them from Dubai eventually, but to stretch and to prime a canvas, you have to buy the glue and the water and the rabbit skin and glue and everything, and you were doing it yourself. Very difficult.
It's sometimes we don't realize how privileged we are in here in the United States, and of course in London also, to have all this kind of materials that we have, and all these kinds of, like we have here in the United States, we have Dick Blick, which is ginormous kind of store, but also you can go online, you can pretty much find everything over there. It's just amazing, which is fun, but also it's amazing when I received this piece to see that you're right. He didn't use a lot of different paintings, actually. His palette was really simplistic, but somehow he gave so much movement to the piece. But if you think about it, he didn't use a lot of paint, and maybe he didn't have a lot of paint. So
probably he would buy the powder and mix it.
I'm happy that I bought it and could help, but to me it was really interesting to see all these details that you don't need to have 50 palettes of paint to create good art. When you are teaching, do you teach something from start to finish, like they go out of your class with a piece of a sea made, or is just techniques that you are teaching, or you teach both?
Well, both, in the sense, it depends. If I have my ongoing students, yes, so they try, again, it depends on the level they are, they try different and mediums and subjects. But then we learn the composition, we learn the light, we learn the balance, we learn the harmony. And as you correctly said, I do not encourage my students to buy 3 kinds of reds and 5 greens. No, you take, and I start them off with the 3 basic colors, the blue, the red, and the yellow, and they have to make the first painting, they create the colors themselves. Oh, wow. And it is amazing how most of the people don't know, I mean, how to make black, how to make brown, you know, although if you went to school and if you're interested, you may have learned them, but you don't think about it.
Yeah, the color value and all that kind of things.
And the value to make it right. The less colors, the better the value, actually. You know.
Do you think you need to know how to draw to do these ocean pieces that you do, or no, you don't need really that knowledge?
If you're a starter, are you talking about students or myself at this level I am?
The students.
Oh, the students, definitely. And I get them to draw thumbnails. So we start with composition, because composition is 50% of the painting.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because, you have to teach that. So, again, not everybody can understand that unless you're being taught. And what pleases the eye, or which the focal point, and all the rest. And unless you draw your subject, you know, just a little bit to get the composition right.
Right. I believe that sometimes people beat themselves that they're going to create something they think they are not that great. But if you think about it, maybe it's not that. It's just because you need some kind of knowledge, sometimes in value, color values, and rule of thirds, or a composition. It's a long process. Don't you believe that even you on your stage, you have to keep learning and keep trying things, and right? It's an evolving process, right? If we knew everything, it would be boring, right?
Yeah. Oh, no, definitely. And even the old masters had a teacher, a mentor.
Right.
Everybody.
That's true. That's true.
And as Picasso said, you know, God gives us a gift, the talent, but we have to work at it.
Exactly.
Nothing comes easy. No. And you evolve also as an artist. You want to evolve, you want to try other things, and it comes naturally, and it's the human nature also.
So, Marina, to end our conversation, what kind of suggestion you would give, you know, for people that are trying to start the art process, but more like for you that are accomplished artists in galleries, like what kind of advice you would give to them if they think it's hard? You know, gallery is very hard. So what is your suggestion, you think, for them to keep going, and what kind of things they could do?
Okay, today, because of the internet, no matter what you are, whether you're a musician, a doctor, an artist, the competition is very hard. Okay, a doctor is different, but we're all doctors, we're all artists, we're all musicians, we're all dietitians, because there's so much out here. So anybody can claim to be an artist, a musician, or anything. If you really, really, really love what you're doing, there is future. You can live out of your art, but you have to be patient and you have to be consistent and keep
Yes.
on going.
Yes.
Consistent. And as I
Definitely.
say, we get the slap in the face because there's a lot of gatekeepers out there.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Not so much now because you don't need the gallery to sell. You can do it yourself with social media, but you have to be patient. It doesn't happen overnight. Patience and consistent and believe in yourself.
Yes. Yes, definitely. Definitely. I think if you believe in yourself, then if you don't believe in yourself, who is going to believe you? How are you going to sell
That's
your
true.
art if you don't believe that your art is good? You have to be the first one.
Yeah, and we cannot please everybody. Nobody, no matter whether you're best artist in the world, your artwork is the best. You can't please everybody. Not everybody will like it.
Yeah.
But a certain percentage will. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And
So
yes, you have to love yourself.
I will post in the notes, of course, your Instagram, but do you have a website as well?
I have a website, which is www.marinaemphietzi.com.
I'll put that as well in the notes.
Yes. And marina.emphietzi. Yes, in Instagram. Facebook.
So do you have a gallery that is representing you right now?
I have a gallery in Cyprus representing me. I have a publisher in UK.
Are you going to go back to give classes?
I do. I have my online classes at the moment.
Ah, okay. Oh,
yes.
Awesome.
And yes, and we will go, I hope, to physical ones as of September. I also do art experiences on Airbnb experiences. And there's another company called Art Experiences, and I'm part of that too. So I do physical classes and I do online classes.
Okay,
all levels.
I'll post all the links in the show notes so you guys can check it out. And also Marina and I and Mezzarine, there was a guest also. We do every 2 weeks on our Instagrams art live talk that we talk about all kinds of topics about art. Each one of us has a way of describing what the topic is about. So we have that discussion between us. So it's very interesting. Not just live, if you cannot go live, but all of us have on the Instagram, because what we do, we rotate between us. So we check out. So if you visit all our accounts and go to IGTV, then you can see our previous art talks, which has been really fun to discuss these things. And we had all kinds of topics that we talked so far. It is
and more topics to talk about in the future, more interesting and more engaging.
There is so much to talk about, right? We are never tired to talk about art. I think that's more we do art, more we like to talk about art. So it's really amazing. So Marina, thank you so much for coming to the podcast. I can't wait for people to go check out your work, because you do beautiful work in oils and the sea, because I think it's to pass that emotion with the sea is something very unique. I love your pieces because they're very vibrant and they're very beautiful. So I hope everyone go and check it out in your classes as well. And of course, we're going to see each other on the Art Talk.
Yes, we are. And thank you so much for inviting me to this podcast. And all the best.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks for listening. Check episode notes at 2 worldart.com/blog. Connect with Jana on Instagram at Jana_2worlds. And make sure to receive our artful insights by signing up at bit.ly/join2worldsart.